Welcome to the Chirpin podcast. My name is Matt, and this is episode 3 of our Chirpin podcast series. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the Walker injury and go over some game recaps. Let's start with the Walker injury. During Tuesday's game, Walker, tripped on a sprinkler. It's a very odd injury, but nonetheless, it's an injury, and he hurt his knee. It was a little scary because, as we all know, knee injuries are not great. He could have tore a meniscus. He could have done a variety of different things. Let's see if we can pull up a update. So a couple days ago, there was an update on Jordan Walker. It was good news. It said that he had no tear. It was just some inflammation in the knee. They expect him to be full swing on opening day. Marmal defined it as great news, and I can agree. It is great news. It would have been pretty devastating to see Walker go down. I mean, we need him to be good, and we can't see if he's not on the field. So that would have been pretty bad especially for what the Cardinals are trying to accomplish this year. So yeah, the Katie Wu shared that Walker's knee injury likely won't impact his opening day, and there was no real surprises. And St. Louis caught a big break. So yeah, I'm not sure why a sprinkler is out during the game. That's a failure, really, on the field staff. Anyway, let's talk about the game. Tuesday's game was a W for the Cardinals, and this was the day where we actually saw two W's for the Cardinals. One against the Mets, one against the Nationals. Let's first hit the Nationals game. So Thomas Ajacey got things started with the home run. What are you guys feeling about Sajasi? I'm thinking that he's pushing his way onto a roster spot. I really don't want to see him on the bench. He needs to play every day. But depending on how Gorman keeps going, there's a real argument to be made that Gorman should start in the minor leagues and Sajasi start on the MLB roster and see what happens. He hits a home run in the top of the fifth inning. And then Michael Ciani drew a walk that scored Lucan Baker. Lars Nootbaar hit a single, made it 4-0. It was a good thing to see because Nootbaar is starting to heat up. Then we had a double from Alex Call that scored two. That was from the National side. And Ahmed Rosario hit another single that scored two and made it 4-4. What won the game for the Cardinals was a Yordelin Pena home run that made it 6-4. That was at the top of the ninth. Washington couldn't come back in the bottom, and the Cardinals won that 6-4. It was a decent game. The Cardinals starter was Michael McGreevy, and he shined again. He had one strikeout with one hit and 3 innings pitched, no earned runs, and he's still sitting on a 0 ERA at this point in the week. Later in the week, he kind of gets hit, but we'll talk about that. Liberatore came out, 3 innings pitched, 2 Ks. He's looked great this spring. He still has 0 ERA with 7 innings pitched. Nick Anderson is I was about to say a joke, but I don't want to be mean. Nick Anderson's a disappointment because we picked him up. We're hoping he was going to be an integral piece in this bullpen. And so far, he's been horrible. Absolutely horrible. One of the worst pitchers in spring with a 19.29 ERA. He had 4 earned runs and 3 hits with 0.1 innings pitched. It was awful. It was awful. And he gave up all the runs that the Nationals scored. So Not good to see. We don't want to see that at all. Let's move on. Okay, so the next game on Tuesday against the Mets. Cardinals won it 6-1, and it was Palante who started the game. Let's see where Palante had a strong outing, which was good to see because his last outing was horrible. 3 innings pitched, 1 hit, 0 earned runs, 2 strikeouts. Helsley came out and pitched an inning, and it was a decent inning. Fernandez came out, shut people down. Tinkins came out and wrapped it up with 2 innings pitched, and it was a better outing than we've seen from Tinkins. So that was good to see. Let's see. All right, let's do a game summary. Jose Fermin got it started with a single, made it 1-0. Nolan Arenado ripped a double and made it 3-0. That was in the bottom of the sixth. The bottom of the seventh, Matt Kopernak got a home run, made it 5-0. Alex Ramirez for the Mets reached on a fielding error, and that scored a run, which was the Mets' sole run. And then Leonardo Bernal hit a single, made it 6-1. And that was the wrap on the game. The Cardinals pretty much blew the Mets out. Let's get into Wednesday's game. Let's go with Wednesday's starter. So Wednesday was Sonny Gray. 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 Ks, and that was good for a 10.13 ERA. That was the first time we saw Sonny Gray this spring, and it wasn't great. We need him to be an ace. Hopefully, he can turn it around. First start, spring training. I'm not very worried. Okay, let's move on. So again, second day in a row, Jose Fermin. He reached on a fielding error, which scored a run, made it 1-0. And then Jeremy Pena of the Houston Astros hit a home run, tied the game up. Top of the third, Ivan Herrera hit a double on a line drive, made it 2-1. Bottom of the third, Jake Myers and Jose Altuve both hit home runs, making it 3-2. Then in top of the fifth, my boy Luke Baker. I'm telling you, he's going to be on this team. Probably a bench bat. He's going to be on this team. He hit a bomb, made it 3-3. Then Jose Barrero, who I'm going to get into later. He's been solid this season, and I did not expect it, but so far very solid. Jose Barrero, 2-run home run on a fly ball, made it 5-3. Bottom of the eighth inning, Houston came back with another 2-run home run, tied the game up, and then Colin Price to the Houston Astros singled on a line drive, and that was a nail in the coffin for the Cardinals. All right, let's get into Thursday's game. So on Thursday, we saw a strong outing by Eric Fetty. Very strong. 3 innings pitched, 0 earned runs. He did walk 2, but he got a strikeout, and that ERA is a 1.50 in 6 innings pitched. It was solid, and we need him to be at number 2 for the Cardinals to even attempt to be good this season. Tekoa Roby has had a mixed season so far, and he came out and wasn't good. 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned, and 2 strikeouts. He has a 3.86 ERA for the spring so far. Same thing with Graceffo. Graceffo has not had a strong spring yet. 5.2 innings, 4.76 ERA. In Thursday's game, he gave up 3 runs or 2 earned runs on 3 hits, 2 walks, but he did have 3 strikeouts. So overall, it wasn't a bad game, and I'm impressed with Fetty's strong spring, and hopefully it rolls into the season, and hopefully the rest of the staff can get going because so far Gray, Michaelis, and Palante have all been slow getting warmed up this spring. And I think McGreevy should have a big shot in terms of getting a role on this team. I really do believe it. All right. Let's talk about Friday's game. So Friday's game started with a Lars Nootbaar single in the bottom of the first. Got us on the board 1-0 against Houston. But immediately in the top of the second, Joe Hudson hits a single, oddly enough, to Lars Nootbaar and ties it up 1-1. And then Jose Altuve got that sac fly, made it 2-1 Houston. And then bottom of the third, Ivan Herrera gets a home run, makes it 3-2. Top of the sixth inning, Jeremy Pena singles, ties it up 3-3. Bottom of the sixth inning, Jose Fermin singles, makes it 4-3. And then Victor Scott walked, brought it in 5-3. Colin Price reached on throwing error by Jeremy Rivas, made it 5-4. Still in the favor of the Cardinals. And in the bottom of the seventh, Leonardo Bernal hit a home run, put the final nail in the coffin for the game. That was it. Really, what's standing out in this game, more or less, and on Sunday's game, which I'll get to, but what stood out in this game was Victor Scott. And in my first episode, I stated Lars Nootbaar needed to be in center field because we need to see what he's going to do with a full season, what Burleson's going to do with a full season, and what Walker can do in a full season. And I'm starting to change that opinion. And it's because of Scott and his incredible spring so far. I mean, right now, his spring stats are great. And I mean, not, obviously, we know his defense is spectacular, and his running game is, again, spectacular. He has one home run, four RBIs with four stolen bases, a 333 average, 21 at bats, and he has over 1,000 OPS. I mean, that's all pretty good. He's got caught stealing one time. He has four strikeouts. He has as many stolen bases as strikeouts. It's funny. Four walks. I mean, he's drawn walks. He has a 440 on base percentage. And this isn't, I mean, it's 21 at bats, I know, but it's solid. And we need offense in center field. And having offense and defense and someone who can be scary on the base paths, he could change the whole pitching game with his feet. I'm telling you, if he keeps playing like this, he will be the starting center fielder. I mean, how could they say no? All right, let's talk about Saturday. Saturday saw Matt start. He pitched 4 innings. Two of them earned runs. Struck out three people. He had a 3.0 ERA. That's a 9 innings pitched. So far, if he could pitch a 3.0 ERA in 9 innings, I mean, that's great. I know it's spring. I don't know what Mats is going to do this season. I mean, actually, you know what? I do know he's going to get injured. It's just a matter of when. But McGreevy, I still think should get in over him because I know they're going to play. Yeah, they're going to play Michaelis because they got him on a $20 million contract, and their egos are too fucking big to not play him. But Matt's had an okay outing. His ERA is still fairly high. He gave up 2 earned runs, but I mean it's not that big of a deal. The rest of the relief was fairly good. Let's go into the recap. Bottom of the first inning, Gabriel Ruiz hit a ground out, but scored a run. Top of the second, Cardinals come back, grounds into a force out, but we get 1 run out of it, and that was Ryan Belade. And then Michael Hellman hit a sac fly, made it 2-1. Bottom of the third, Gabriel Ruiz hits a single, ties it up 2-2. Top of the fourth, Ryan Belade again hits a ground rule double and made it 3-2 Cardinals. Then Michael Hellman again grounds out and made it 4-2. And then JJ Weatherholt attempted a steal. He made the steal, but they threw it away. JJ Weatherholt was able to score. That made that 5-2. And Juan Yepes, our old buddy, tried to make a comeback for the Washington Nationals, but it didn't happen. Scored 1 run, but that was it. Final on that game was 5-3. Cardinals took the W. One name I do want to mention is Barrero. I said earlier that I was going to talk about him, and I'm going to talk about him now. So, yeah, his average isn't pretty. He has a 188 average, but his OPS is an 841. He has 2 home runs, 5 RBIs in 12 games, 17 at bats. He has 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. But what's bringing that OPS up to 841 at the time of Saturday was his slugging is at 529. And I don't know if it's sustainable, but he's a pretty electric player and he's been solid and I think he could be solid off the bench at some point. I don't know if he can make the team right out of spring, but as the season develops, who knows what could arise, and he's been pretty impressive so far, especially with the defense too. He plays a slick shortstop, even though I mean we're well versed in shortstops. We don't need any more, but a backup utility won't be bad. Another person who's having one hell of a spring is Contreras. Are you shocked? 19 at bats. He has a 368 average, 1 home run, 3 RBIs, with an OPS north of 1,000. Solid. And I think he's going to be the Cardinals' best offensive piece. He's a 478 on base, a 579 slugging, 3 strikeouts with 3 walks. He's got 1 double. So, yep, so far, so good. He's been okay over there at first base. I think he'll be fine. All right, lastly, let's get to Sunday's game. All right, so Sunday's game was kind of like a comeback for the Cardinals. Burley got started with a home run, which Burleson's had a really good spring too, and in my opinion deserves a starting job. But yeah, bottom of the second, Alec Burleson hits a home run. Top of the third, Jazz Chiselholm Jr. hits a home run, scores 2, makes it 2-1. And then in the same inning, JC Escara hits a home run, 2-run home run again, makes it 4-1. And it's like that from the top of the third into the bottom of the fourth, when Nolan Gorman hits his bomb. And are we starting to see Gorman heat up? I think so. He's been hitting the ball a lot better. And I mean, he destroyed this ball. If he can just put it together and just have a power like Kyle Schwarber, just don't strike out as much as Kyle Schwarber because he doesn't walk as much as Schwarber does. But if he doesn't strike out, he can just put the ball in play more and then get those home runs too. He could have a very solid career. I mean, if he could figure out how to draw more walks, that'd be great too. But hitting doubles off the wall, hitting home runs, that's really where Gorman's gonna be. Top of the fifth, Anthony Volpe hits a 2-run home run. Oh, sorry, not 2-run home run. Hits a home run, makes it 5-3. Bottom of the sixth, Jose Fermin hit a sac fly, inched it closer, 5-4. Bottom of the seventh, Matt Kopernak hits a homer, makes it 5-5. And then at the bottom of the eighth, Cardinals make the comeback. Hits a home run, makes it 6-5, and that was it. So Matt Kopernak, if I'm saying that right, I'm not sure. He's been another very good piece this spring. I don't know if he'll make the Cardinals opening day roster, but I mean his stats have been phenomenal. 350 average, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, a stolen base, and 20 at bats. He has a OPS north of 1,000. He's he's 27, so he's one of those like quadruple A forever minor leaguers. But last season in the minor leagues, he had 20 home runs, 73 RBIs, a 309 average, 370 on base, and a 512 slugging with an 882 OPS. And he's playing pretty good in the spring. I say give him a shot. I mean, I know there's so many players that have to get a shot, but if people aren't playing good, play the players that are playing good. That's, if your goal is to be good, which it seems that's what they want to do, even though they didn't go and get anybody. But if your goal is to be good, play the players playing good, not hard. So yeah, Sunday's game, Burleson, right? Burleson. Burleson's had a strong spring. I want to take a look at his stats. So yeah, so far he has a 286 average, 1 home run, 2 RBIs, an 861 OPS, and 21 at bats. It's not bad. He has 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, some more walks and strikeouts. His OBP is at 385 right now. He had 1 double, but take it with a grain of salt because last season, in 21 games in spring, he had 1 home run, 8 RBIs, 7 walks, 4 strikeouts, and his slash line was 375, 446, and 542, which was good for a 988 OPS. So we'll see with Burleson. I think he should be starting, like I already stated. I'm a fan of his. We'll see what happens. I don't think I went over the starter. Yeah, no. The starter in this game was Palante, who gave up 4 earned runs in 4 innings pitched. It was bad start, good start, bad start for him. He gave up 2 home runs, which is bad. You want to see him throw ground ball after ground ball after ground ball because that's what he is a ground ball pitcher. He gave up 8 hits in 4 innings pitched as well. So his ERA is sitting at 9 right now, which is horrible. McGreevy Like I said, I was going to get back to McGreevy. He gave up 1 run today on 5 hits and 2.2 innings pitched. So he wasn't as sharp today, but still a lot better than Palante, better than Michaelis. McGreevy should be starting on this team. And I'm going to say that until spring's over because I'm confident he's going to have a very strong spring. And if he started, I'm confident he'd have a strong season. Give McGreevy a chance. That pretty much wraps up this episode of Chirpin Birds. My name's Matt, and we'll see you guys next time.